Now, proceeding with factorization, we are going to do factorization of a quadratic trinomial for grade 10. So we have a video where we do grade 9. It is good that you go through the video for factorizing a quadratic trinomial for grade 8 and grade 9. But in this lesson here, I'm teaching you how to do or factorize a quadratic trinomial for grade 10 and above. Okay, so a quadratic trinomial is, first of all, an expression with 3 terms. It also has one constant term. And then lastly, the ratio of the exponents of the variables is 2:1 or 1:2. So no matter how it looks like, we have, no matter what it looks like, the ratio is 2:1 or 1:2. Okay. Now, let's take examples. So we could have 2x squared minus 7x plus 5. That's one example, so e.g. And then we'd have 3x squared minus 8x plus 5. Then let's say we also have 3x squared, let's say negative 3x squared plus 16x minus 5. And lastly, let's say you have 4x squared minus 13x plus 3. Right. So let's get also one last one, maybe from grade 11, because this is for grade 10 and above. Maybe let's have this. X to the half negative 6. Of course, we can have another video. We do more of these ones, the last one. So I've just thrown it in there. Maybe the end should come here. Okay, so those are examples of the quadratic trinomials you can meet in grade 10 and 11, basically. The last one is involving what we call surds. Right, the square roots of non-perfect squares. So how do we factorize this in this grade 10 problems? So I'm just going to write the problems on the sides. 2x squared minus 7x, so that we can be able to write the method. Plus 5, then we have negative 3x squared plus 16x minus 5. Then we have 4x squared minus 13x plus 1. And lastly, we have x minus x to the half minus 6. So how do we factorize a quadratic trinomial in grade 10? And I'm just going to touch on how this differs from grade 8 and 9 for those who are teachers and are following our videos. Right, so the difference between grade 10 and grade 9 and below, grade 10 and above and grade 9 and below, in terms of factorizing a quadratic trinomial, is that in grade 8 and the lower grades, we always have problems where the coefficient of the x squared is 1 or it can be taken out as a common factor, highest common factor, so that we, in the brackets, we have a coefficient that is 1. But in grade 10 and above, the coefficient of a, even if it's not 1, it cannot always be taken out as a highest common factor to simplify the problem, so that we can be able to use the method for when the x squared has a coefficient of 1. So here we have to do a different method, and the method involves taking both the a and c in ax squared plus bx plus c. So how does the method work? One, we have what? We have the first step is, let's just write the numbers. 1, find or determine factors of AC that find factors of AC that add up to B. So you find factors of A times C that when you add them together you get B. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is split the bx term in terms of the factors from step 1. From step 1, so that bx is equals to dx plus ex, where d and e are the factors. Okay. And then number 3, factorize the pairs with common factors. The pairs with common factors. Factorize the pairs with common factors. And in factorizing the pairs with common factors, you cannot group the terms that are coming from the two factors together. The terms that are coming from the two factors you found from step 1 should be separated and paired with the other two terms, ax squared and c. So you can't pair the two terms that come from the factors together and the other two terms that were originally there together. You can't. Okay, so one factor goes with one factor term goes with one of the original terms that were there. So once you have found one pair that is having common factors, then the other two must go together, whether they like it or not, even if it means their common factor is 1. Okay, so number 4, take out, or let's say, take out the common bracket. Take out the common bracket. Or binomial factor. So after factorizing the pairs with common factors, you will have a binomial factor. In other words, a factor that is in parentheses and it has two terms, right? it will occur in both terms, that result. So you take it out as a highest common factor, and then you're done. Another way to put this is to factorize further. Right. So we have 4 steps. Find factors of AC that will add up to B. Then split the BX term in terms of the factors, so that BX is equals to DX plus EX, where D and E are common factors. The factors found from step 1, and then factorize the pairs with common factors. But do not pair the terms that were made from the common factors, were made from the factors found in step 1 together. You must separate those two. Then take out the common bracket or binomial factor, SHCF. Okay, so now we're going to take our examples, write them again, and then do them one by one following this method. So we're factorizing this using the method for grade 10. So the first problem was 2x squared minus 7x plus 5. Then the second one was 3x squared minus 8x plus 5. The third one was negative 3x squared plus 16x minus 5. Alright, then the fourth one was 4x squared minus 13x plus 1. And the last one was x minus x to the half minus 6. Now, let's go on and do the first one. So this is a suggested solution. In this method, we have 4 steps. So the first step is what? Multiply A and C and find the factors. So factors of AC. AC is equals to 2 times 5 in this case, which is equals to 10. The A and the C, remember, is AX squared plus BX plus C. So the A is 2, the B is negative 7, and the C is positive 5. So now, AC will be 2 times 5, which is 10. So that means we are looking for factors of 10. That will give us negative 7. So we start 10 divided by 1 equals 10. So we have 1 and 10. Another pair is negative 1 and negative 10. Right. Then we go to 10 divided by 2, which is equals to 5. So we got 2 and 5, negative 2 and negative 5. Right. Then we go to 3, 4, can't go to leave remainders. 5, we already have the 5 there. That means we found all the factors. So now that means that we're going to have what? 2x squared minus 7x plus 5 is equals to 2x squared. The minus 7, we need to check which factors give us minus 7. So I forgot to do that. Remember, we found factors of AC that give us B. So AC is 10, and factors of 10 that give us negative 7, which is B, are negative 2 and negative 5. Right. So that means that here we're going to split the negative 7x, because that's the second step. Split the negative 7x using the factors that you have. You're going to have negative 2x, negative 5x plus 5. So we've split it. If you check negative 2 and negative 2x and negative 5x will give you negative 7x. Okay. Now from there, what do? We factorize the third step. Factorize the pairs with common factors, but you can't pair the ones that come from the factors you found of 10 or of AC. You can't pair them together. You have to pair them with the other terms that were originally in the expression. So we can pair these two because we see they have XX. So the other two should go together automatically. But not only do they have XX, they also have 2. Okay, so here the highest common factor is 2x. So we're going to be left with x minus 1. And then if you check here, if you take out negative 5, you have what? X minus 1. If you take out only 5 and you have plus 5 into, you're going to have negative x plus 1, which will then require you to take out the negative so that the two brackets are not of different signs. Okay, but yeah, that's what we have. Now you see, this bracket is the same. Now that's the common bracket that we take out. X minus 1, we take it out. If you take it out here, you're left with 2x. If you remove it here, you're left with negative 5. And so that is the answer for the first one. Alright, let's go to the second one. The second one is 3x squared minus 8x plus 5. And what we want to do is find factors of 3 times 5, AC, which is 15. That will give you negative 8. So what is this going to be? So we're going to have factors of 15 of 15 divided by 1 is equal to 15. So 1 and 15, negative 1 and negative 15. Then factors of, okay, now we divide by 2. Well, we can't. It leaves a remainder. So we go to 3. 3 equals 5. And then we have 3 and 5. And then negative 3 and negative 5. And we check 15 divided by, we go to 4, it will leave a remainder 5. We already have a 5, so we stop. That means we have found all factors of positive 15. Now on these factors, we check which ones will give us negative 8. And if you check, it's this one. Only one pair will always give you the correct middle term. So now once you have this, now you go and say what? You break the middle term. That's the third step. The second step. Once you have found factors that give you negative 8, factors of AC that give you negative 8 or B, then you go on step 2 and split that BX term according to those factors. So negative 3x, negative 5x plus 5. And now with that, we have what? 4 terms now. Once you have 4 terms, you factorize the terms in terms of what? Common factors. But you can't group the factors that you created from there. You can't group the terms that come from the factors you found in step 1. You have to go to separate them. So one of them must be paired with one of the original terms and the other one also. So we do what? Now we have the 4 terms, so we group these 2 together because you can see they all have XX. And they also have 3, 3. Once you have found one pair that matches, the other 2 should match automatically. So here the highest common factor is going to be 3x. If you take out 3x, you're left with x, you're left with minus 1. Here, highest common factor is 5. So we can take out negative 5 if you like. Then we're going to have what? X minus 1. Okay. Now, that means we have what? A common bracket there. We take it out. That's step number 4. Remember, step number 3 is to factorize in pairs. Step number 2 is to split the BX term. Step number 1 is to find the factors of AC that will give you B. So once you've taken out this common bracket, on the first term you are left only with 3x. On the second term you are left with negative 5. And so you have factorized. So that's how you do the second example. Let's go to the third example. Third example, we have negative 3x squared. Negative 3x squared plus 16x minus 5. Now, with this, we need to take what? Negative 3 times negative 5. You see, I'm taking also the negative when it's there. So you must always take the sign as well. The negative that is there. Don't just take the 5 as it is. Because then it means you are making the C now positive 5 and the A positive 3. So you take the negative as well. So negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15. That means we're looking for factors of positive 15 that will give us positive 16. And if we start here, we have already found the factors of 15 there actually. So we don't have to do this work from scratch. Let's see from the factors of 15 that we have there, which ones will give us positive 16. And if you check, it's this one. 1 and 15 will give us positive 16. So that means that we're going to have So we have the first step. Then we split in the second step, the middle term, in terms of those factors we found. So we're going to have plus 1x plus 15x. You don't have to write the 1. You can just have x. But sometimes I like to write the 1 for those who are new to this method. It's minus 5. Now, we group the terms. Now, the ones that are made from the factors that we got from step 1 cannot go together. So we'll take this one and this one together because they both have x. So we're going to have what? If we take out the x as a common factor, we're going to have what? Maybe let's take out the negative as well and have negative x. Whenever there's a negative on the first term, I always take out the negative as well. But even if you don't take it out, you can still be able to do this problem. So negative x, here we're going to be left with 3x only. And then here we're going to be left with negative 1. So that negative times negative is positive 1x. Then here we take out what? So this is positive. So, okay, well, 15, we're going to take out 5. If we take out 5, we're left with 3x minus 1. And so, again, we have a common bracket or a common binomial factor. Now, if we take it out, we're going to have what? 3x minus 1 into, we check, negative x plus 5 or 5 minus x, and that is how you factorize the third one. Now we still have some space. Maybe we can do the fourth one. So let's see if we can squeeze in the fourth one. The fourth one is 4x squared minus 13x plus 1. That means we're looking for factors of 4 times 1, which is 4. That will give us So in this one, we're supposed to have, I made a mistake here, sorry. I think we gotta have to fix that. Otherwise it won't be able to factorize that. So what we had to have here is 3, sorry. So 3. I took this example, I made a mistake there. It's supposed to be plus 3. Otherwise we won't be able to solve that. Okay. Or to factorize that. So what we need is a factors of 4 times 3, which is 12. That will give us negative 13. Right. So factors of 12, that will give us negative 13. We start with 1. 12 divided by 1 is 12. And then that means we have 1 and 12, and negative 1 and negative 12. And then 12 divided by 2 is equals to 6. So we have 2 and 6, negative 2 and negative 6. And then we have 12 divided by 3 is equals to 4. We have 3 and 4, negative 3, negative 4. And then 12 divided by 4, well, we already have 4, so we stop. So now we are running out of space. But what we're going to have then is, now we have found factors, right? Let's find which ones will give us negative 13. And if you check carefully, it is negative 1 and negative 12. So we have step 1 done. Second step is to take what? Take this, break the 13 according to the factors. So negative 1x, negative 12x plus 3. Now that we have split this, that is the second step. We split the bx according to the factors. We are ready to go on and just going to erase this a bit. Now we are ready to factorize the pairs with common factors. Remember, you can't pair the ones that come from the factors, the terms that come from the factors together. So you must find them a way to separate them. Match one with each one with the original, one of the original terms. So these ones have x and x, so we can match them together. It's fine. So we're going to have what? If we take out that x as the highest common factor, we're going to be left with 4x minus 1. Then here we have minus. I'm just going to write the minus there. The highest common factor here is 3. So we're going to have 4x left. And then here we're going to have negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 3 will be positive 3. So we have factorized now. This is a common binomial once again, binomial factor. So if we take it out, we're going to have this. And if you take it out here, you're left with x. If you take it out here, you're left with minus 3. And so we have factorized the fourth one. So those are the first 4 examples. And then let's erase to do the last one. Okay. Now, the last one might seem a bit tricky, but if you remember how we defined a quadratic trinomial, then it shouldn't be very complicated. And most of these examples, like this last one, are from grade 11 on the topic related to surds, or after you've done that topic. Because that's where we introduce exponents that are rational, irrational. Oh, sorry, that are rational, sorry, that are fractions, in other words, and do that deeply. Of course, this is also introduced a little bit in grade 10. All right, so we have what? X to the exponent 1/2 minus 6. And one wonders, why is this a quadratic expression? And the answer is simple. If you look at the ratio of the exponents here, the other one is 1, and then the other one is half. So if you multiply both sides by 2, you get what? 2 on this side, and you get 1. So the ratio is 1 is to, is 2 is to 1. Or if you take 1 divided by half, you get 2. You take half divided by 1, you get half. So when the ratio of the exponent in a trinomial, sorry, that has one of the terms as a constant, is half or 2, then it means that it's a quadratic. So in this case as well, we have what? 1 divided by half is 2, or half divided by 1 is half. So this is a quadratic trinomial. It satisfies all the 3 characteristics of a quadratic trinomial. 3 terms, 1 constant term, the ratio of the exponents is half or 2. So how do we then do it? Well, the biggest power is this one. So that means our A is here, our B is here, and our C is that. So we're going to find what? In this case, the coefficient here is 1. If the coefficient is not 1, would follow the method that we have just done. But if you want to follow it to the letter, you can just say A times this one. So basically, it's the same as just finding factors of -6. That will give you -1. So let's do that. -6 divided by 1 is -6. So we get 1 and -6. I took the negative there as well. 1 times -6 is -6. And then to find the other factor, pair of factors, we change the signs of these factors here. So -1 and 6. We get -6 divided by 2 is -3. So 2 and -3. And then the other pair will be -2 and 3. And then we go to -6 divided by 3. We already have 3. So we stop. Now, we check which factors here will give us -1. And if you check carefully, this pair here will give us -1. Then we go on. That's step number 1. We go on and do what? Half. We open brackets. Well, there are 2 ways to do it. I'm going to do it with the grade 10, then I'm going to go back to the grade 9. But in the grade 10, we'd go on and split the middle term in terms of the 2 factors. So we're going to have we're going to have x and then 2x to the exponent 1/2 minus 3x to the exponent 1/2 minus 6. And if we check here, we can take out x to the half. Remember, 1 is half plus half. Okay, so we're going to have x. If we take out x to the half as a common factor on these 2, remember you can't pair the ones made from the factors that you got in step 1. If we do this, we're going to have what? X to the half into x to the half. Here we're going to be left with the 2. Then we take out negative 3 because it's a common factor there. We're left with x to the half plus 2. And now we have a common binomial factor again. This gives us what? This gives us x to the half plus 2. If you take it out, here you're left with x to the half minus 3. So that is how you can do it if you are following the method we just did. But if you are doing the grade 8 and 9 method I taught you, where this is 1, or you can take out the number here out as a common factor so that you have 1 on the highest power of x. What you were supposed to do after finding the factors 2 and negative 3 was then to open 2 pairs of parentheses and then write x to the half. So it's always the smaller power that you write here. Remember, you have the bigger power and the smaller power and then the constant. It's always the smaller power as it is. So you're going to write x to the half and x to the half, and then plus 2 minus 3, just like that. Okay. Remember, with the grade 8 and 9, if there's a 1 next to the highest power here in the quadratic trinomial, all you do is focus on the constant term, find factors of it, that will give you the middle term. Once you've found them, you open 2 pairs of parentheses, then you write the smaller power of the 2 terms with variables, and then also add it with the factors that you have. Normally you just write xx, but in this case the smaller power is x to the half. So you have x to the half, x to the half, and then plus 2, negative 3 or minus 3. And so that is how you do you factorize a quadratic trinomial for grade 10 and 11. Let's just say grade 10 and above. Okay. I will create a video if I catch time where we do more examples of exponents that are fractions. Okay. Right, so that is how you factorize quadratic trinomials for grade 10 and above. See you in the next one.